Hi everyone, welcome to World Card Making Day. I have my computer pulled up beside me, so I am just getting some last minute things finished here, and then I'm going to pull up the Facebook Live so I can see comments. You know, Facebook is so weird, and you know, I probably shouldn't say that because I'm going to go into Facebook jail for saying that, but Facebook, sometimes they don't show me the comments in my group on my phone, so I am pulling up my computer so I can see your guys' comments as we go throughout our Facebook Live today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So this Facebook Live is, of course, in celebration of World Card Making Day. We are going to be making these 4 cards, and I'm still looking for my live. Hold on. It takes a second to find it on the computer. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Now, I offered this class as a class to go. So a couple weeks ago on my blog, you could have signed up to receive the class kit for this. So you're going to be making it with me. Now, if you are making the cards along with me, make sure you have all your supplies ready. That was all in your kit. So make sure you have all your supplies ready. Hello, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Watching from all over the US. So welcome, guys. Now, I also want to say about this Facebook Live, this is in conjunction with Karen Titus and her group, Stamping on the Back Porch. I am one of Karen Titus's downline. I'm actually in her 3rd level, so I'm down below on her downline, but I am still in her downline and her team. So that's really fun. Now, today, I am going to be giving away a Peaceful Deer set. This is a brand new one, never been used. You can't see it inside. This is completely brand new, never been used. This is the one I'm going to be using. So you might win this stamp set. I'm going to give this one away. To enter, all you have to do is comment, and then I'll be drawing a winner on Monday. You have until Monday at noon to enter, and then I'm going to draw a random winner, and I might be writing your name right here, and then I'm going to get this in the mail to you. Now, if you are the winner of this stamp set, your name is then going to be submitted to Karen Titus, and on Monday evening, she'll be drawing like a grand prize winner of all of her team members who are doing Facebook Live events today in honor of World Card Making Day. So if you win my stamp set, you might win something from her too. So make sure you guys are commenting. Hello, I see all of your comments coming through. Hello. So this is the bundle we're going to use today. This is in the mini catalog. But before we get started, let me introduce myself a little bit. We have a lot of new people joining, and I am so grateful to all of you for joining. My name is Ruth Norton. I have been doing this for over 18 years. This is my 18th year. It's probably closer to 18 and a half years at this point. But I have been doing this for 18 years, like I said, and I love it. This has been my number one job. It's allowed me to stay home with my kids. I am based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I offer in-person classes once a month. And then I also do a lot of Facebook Lives here in my VIP group and then also on my business page. So make sure to check all that out. I have links to everything in my video description, and all of these things will be posted on my blog later today as soon as I can get the video uploaded to YouTube. All right, this is the card we're going to start with today. Again, we are making 4 cards. We're just going to jump right into it. We are making 4 cards using a Peaceful Deer stamp set. I posted a couple days ago all the measurements. If you want to craft along with me, you can. Otherwise, the measurements are all there in the VIP group. You can scroll back and find it and craft along at your own pace. Now, we are using the Peaceful Prince, I think, DSP. Now, this was a celebration item. So I'm going to pull out the samples real quick. If you were lucky enough to grab this as a celebration item, you may have this. This is no longer available because it's a celebration item. If you've got the class kit to go, it included half a package of that. So you have that ready to go. Now, if you don't have the Peaceful Prince DSP, there are a couple of DSPs that I think will work well with all of these cards. The first one is the Painted Christmas DSP. This is in the mini catalog. You can get this one now. And then the other one that I thought would work really well with this one is the Tidings of Christmas DSP, and this is in our annual catalog. Both of these I think will work really well, but again, any DSP you have, all of our color group DSPs, like our neutrals or our brights, those will all work really well with this one too. All right, now the cards we're making today are all really fun, really simple. Just, just to get you crafting. It's World Card Making Day. We need to be making cards. All right, so this is the first one we're going to make. We are using this little greeting. It says, wishing you a wonderful year and friendships dear. So this is actually the only stamping we're going to do on our cards. So we're starting with our cherry cobbler one. If you guys are crafting along with me, let me check. Let me see if I missed any. I'm so bad at reading comments while I'm doing a Facebook Live. So if you are commenting, I'm really good at going back after my Facebook Live and commenting, but it's so much fun to be crafting with all of you guys today. So I have my small piece of white. Now I'm not going to read off measurements. Those are all listed in a previous post, and they will be listed on my blog. So you can check out on all of those, but we're just going to stamp this on the left side, hoping it's somewhat straight. But you know what, you guys, if it's not straight, that just means it's homemade, and it just adds to the character of your card. Now again, I'm going to put this away because I'm notorious for putting things in opening pads. But just stamp your greeting. That is all we're going to do for this card. And we're going to use our DSP. Now you can use either side. I love this gingham side, so we're going to go with that. And that's just going to go right onto our card base. Now our card base is cherry cobbler. And this will just go right onto our card base. So you can see how gorgeous this would be with just a number of DSPs. Any number of DSPs this will be gorgeous on. Now I have another piece of cherry cobbler that we're going to mount our greeting piece on, so I'm going to use that. I'm using Stampin' Seal for all of my adhesives. That is my adhesive of choice, but of course you guys use whatever you prefer. All right, and then this is just going to get mounted right onto our card. So again, these are easy, fun cards that you could easily mass produce if you're looking for some Christmas cards to make that you can really make a lot of in no time. This is a great one. All right, now I have another piece of that DSP. This has the deer on it. Now if you have this DSP, this pattern has the deers going in both directions, so you want to make sure that you grab one that has the deer going in the proper direction that's going to fit into your punch. So just line that up into your punch. And I have some antlers here punching too. I want to make sure that I get the antlers too in my scrap because we're going to actually use those for his antlers. So punch that out. All right, so that is my scrap piece, and then we have our deer and our two little antlers. Perfect. Move on, punch away. So I'm going to flip my deer over because I'm going to put my antlers on. So I want to make sure that the gingham side of the deer is face up, and then the white side of the antlers are face up, so that when everything gets adhered, it'll be, you know, the outline of the deer with the white outline and then the gingham antlers. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to use some mini dimensionals to adhere my antlers down. You can use glue dots. You can use whatever you want, but I'm just going to grab a little mini dimensional. I'm going to get my antlers in position, and then I'm just going to use a little mini dimensional just to hold them down, just like that. I hope you guys can see that, and then we'll just fill up the rest of the deer with some mini dimensionals. Just a couple. Peel off the backings of these. Oh, I peeled off that whole dimensional. Hello. I like to say that the mini dimensionals and the ribbon always hate me in Facebook Lives. I never have a problem using them, and then Facebook Live comes around and all of a sudden I can no longer use mini dimensionals or ribbon. So there we go. Isn't that cute? All right, we're going to finish this with some red rhinestones. Again, if you've got that class to go, it is in your kit. Otherwise, I mean, any sparkly thing would do. You could even use some red sequins, or holiday rhinestones have some red in them, so you could use those too. I am just doing just a little smattering of 3 all around my deer. Isn't that gorgeous? So that is card number 1. One and done. Easy peasy. And this was so much fun. And it's so quick and easy. So you can really just knock out a bunch of these in no time. In occasion of World Card Making Day, of course. I'm reading some of your comments. Hello. Oh, thanks, Flo. Such great simple holiday cards. Thank you guys so much. Okay, this is our next one. Again, it's another super simple card. I like to, when I'm making a lot of cards all at once, I like to keep them simple because that makes it more enjoyable. If you sit down for an hour and a half and you only make 2 cards, and your goal was like 20, that can sometimes be a little disappointing. So when you keep it simple, you can knock out a bunch in no time. I also like to keep them really simple because if I'm mailing a bunch of Christmas cards, I want to be able to do it with a regular stamp. And the post office gets really picky when it's a lot of fancy things on there like rhinestones or ribbons. So keep them nice and simple and the post office will mail your cards happily. All right, I am pulling out my Sahara Sand card base and we're going to do some stamping with Sahara Sand on Sahara Sand cardstock. So I'm stamping onto my card base, and I'm using, let me grab my stamp set so I can show you. I'm using this little kind of snowflake starry stamp here, and we are going to stamp all over my card base, and I'm really only going kind of the first 2/3 up. All right, so this is gonna take a couple minutes, so let's talk. So you guys, this week we had a pipe break in our wall. So we had to call a plumber. We had to bust the wall open. He had to replace the entire pipe. I mean, and we still have an open wall in my daughter's room where it happened. So she is getting her room painted. Next week is fall break. So we will have her wall all patched up, and then we're going to paint her room, which she has been asking for. But it has been a crazy couple of days. So we found the leak on Wednesday. Plumber came out Thursday, got it all taken care of, thank goodness. So it was quick, but you guys, home ownership, being an adult, those things are all overrated. I just want to stamp. All right, so I still have my Sahara Sand cardstock out, and then I have a small piece of white here, and I'm going to take my trees. There's a bunch of different trees in this stamp set. I'm using this bigger one and then this grouping of 3. And what I'm just going to add some to the back here. I'm going to stamp off my big ones though, because I want them a little bit lighter, and I'm just going to kind of vary the height of them. I don't want them to all be the same height. I want them to look more organic. Then I'm going to come in with my little cluster of 3, and I'm just going to stamp those all over. Again, varying the height, just like that. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just stamp your trees and it's all fine. All right, we have one more thing to stamp on this card. We have the Let's Celebrate, and I have another small piece of white for them. We're going to stamp that in Garden Green. So let me find that ink. Here we are, Garden Green. And we're just going to stamp that on our small piece of white here. In the center, hopefully I get this straight. We'll see. Again, Facebook, the pressure of Facebook. It's pretty good. We're going to go with it. Plumbing issues are a nightmare. Oh my gosh, I know. And, you know, you just get that like pit of your stomach feeling when you like see like water coming out of your wall. It's bad. Ugh. Anyway, we are happy it is fixed. We just are now in the process of completely redoing the wall, and then of course repainting her room. All right, my DSP here is that birch pattern, and I just want to make sure that my trees are going up and down. And I have another piece of Garden Green on here. I'm just going to adhere that down. This goes straight onto your card base. Now, when you want to mail a bunch of cards, if you want them to be post office friendly, steer clear of a lot of dimensionals. Now, I'm not shy with dimensionals. I will put dimensionals on every single layer if I can, but you know, the post office, it doesn't like the dimensionals so much. So if you want to mail these, make sure that you stick with few dimensionals. So our stamped tree layer is now going to go on. I have some 4 dimensionals, and that's going to just go on right on top of our DSP, just like that. Now I have some linen thread here, and we're just going to tie this around our greeting piece. And I'm actually going to add a little dot of adhesive back here just to hold that in place so that I can tie it. And then we're gonna see how this goes. Just want a little bow. Now, linen thread is probably my favorite. Well, I don't know. The white seam binding is maybe my favorite, but I really love linen thread. I keep this stuff on hand by the multiples because I love linen thread. All right, it's not the best bow, but you know what? We're gonna go with it because we don't want to be here all day fussing with the bow. Now, if bows don't want to do what you want them to do, if bows aren't laying flat, if the bow is not cooperating with you, use a glue dot and just hold it down with a glue dot because you are stronger than that bow, I promise you. All right, let's bring this back in. I'm going to put a couple more dimensionals on this. I'm going to put one right over that linen thread just to hold it down, and then this will just go right across the bottom of our card. Just like that. Isn't that cute? So that is card number 2. We've already made 4 cards in under 15 minutes. So that is fantastic. Oh, how fun, Deborah. You have a deer in it. Yeah, we don't have, not in Albuquerque, not where I live anyway. Probably up in the mountains of Albuquerque, but I'm in the city, so not in Albuquerque anyway. All right. This is card number 3. Hello. This is card number 3. I love this one. Love the colors of this one. I love any color that you throw in with black is always just super classy. So this is Garden Green. Now I have done some pre-work ahead of this. I have a piece of Very Vanilla that I actually run through the greenery embossing folder, and I love this one. I think it kind of looks almost like a knitted sweater almost. I really love this one for winter cards. I use this embossing folder a lot for winter cards. I have a small piece of black here, and I'm just going to adhere that to the back of my vanilla piece. Now remember, if you guys are looking for the measurements for all of these, they are listed in a previous post, and they will be up on my blog this afternoon. I'm hoping to get this as soon as my video will upload to YouTube. My blog post will go up, so you can check my blog back a little bit later, and hopefully it'll all be up. Now I just adhered that down to my card base. Now speaking of YouTube, if you guys are on YouTube, you can find me, Ruth's Stamping Corner, on YouTube, and you can, you know, subscribe to my channel. I post videos there kind of weekly, so I post quite a few videos, so you can never miss a video. All right, now we're going to be using this little deer. Let me pull out that stamp set again. We're going to be using this little deer. It says, "Oh, what fun," inside the deer. It's like scripty font, very cute. So we're going to be using that, and I have just a scrap piece of vanilla here. And so I'm going to stamp that onto my vanilla. Just make sure you get nice inky coverage. So when you punch out your deer, you get a nice, or not punch, but stamp your deer, you get nice, beautiful coverage on that. Now for my greeting, I have a little label here that has already been pre-die cut. This is from the Seasonal Labels dies. This is my favorite dies in the mini catalog. Even if you don't, I think I have the dies right here because I was just using them yesterday. I'll show you the dies because they're that good. Even if you don't get the coordinating stamp set, which I do recommend, by the way, because it's a great stamp set, the labels in here are just phenomenal, and I use them all the time. And you'll see that if you follow me, you know I've been using these seasonal labels for so many projects, but they just go with everything. So again, in Garden Green ink, I'm going to try to get our greeting nice and straight. Nah, it's good enough. That just means it's homemade, right? There's no mistakes. It's just homemade crafting. All right, so we have our greeting, the best time of the year. And I'm going to stick my little deer in here to punch out. And let's see, it looks like my scrap of paper might be a little small, but I'm going to make it work. Now, if you are having trouble, if your paper is too small, I'm going to give you a quick tip. If your paper is too small to hang on to while it's in the punch, you can use a Post-it note, hold on to that paper. Or you can grab your Take Your Pick tool. Let me pull this over, and you can actually use your Take Your Pick tool and kind of move it around and hold it in place, because your little Take Your Pick tool is sticky. So you can use your Take Your Pick tool, maneuver it around, and then once it's in the right place, you just give it a punch. So there is our sweet little deer. Get rid of all these scraps. All right, this is going to go on to our label with dimensionals, which have vanished. So I'm going to do a couple. I'm just doing big ones this time. You can do little ones. You know the little ones don't like me, so this, and then we're just going to have our deer kind of jumping up just like that. Now I have a piece of our black baker's twine. This is from our Essentials twine pack. And I'm just going to tie this into a bow. We're not even going to try to tie it around anything. We're just going to tie it into a fun bow. And we're going to stick it on with glue dots, which I failed to get out. So let me see if I can find some. There we go. My glue dots is the only adhesive that I kind of have to lock up because my cat will eat the little plastic, or whatever you call it, the little wax paper parts. So I don't know. Do you guys have pets that go after your craft supplies? This is the only thing that's in danger. Nothing else in my room that pets are after, but if she hears me play with that stuff, she will come running and she tries to steal it right off my desk. I left some on my desk one time. We went out. I don't know where we went. We just went, regular day. We just went out. And when I came back, she had unrolled an entire roll of glue dots all over the wood floor. And all the glue dots were stuck down onto our wood floor. So I had to take a little paper piercer like this and just go along every like half inch or so, picking off glue dots from the floor. It was, after that, that only happens once. And then you go, oh, I'm going to put those glue dots away. So it's never happened again. So ever since then, the glue dots stay nice and locked up. Okay, our label goes right on here. Oh yeah, Juanita, my cat, she's not into the ribbon and it's so weird. I have that stuff out all the time. She won't go into that Just crickets. Okay, so I adhered that label down to the DSP. Again, measurements will be on my blog later, or you can scroll back through the group. And then this we're just going to throw on with dimensionals. You know, the dimensional backings will end up all over my dog because he likes to come in my craft room and just kind of hang out right under my feet. And so he normally, you know, dimensional backings, they go everywhere. They're attracted to everything. So they always end up like in his fur. But the cat, she hears those that paper, and she will come running. All right, this is card number 3. Isn't it cute? Now, imagine this with any other color scheme. I mean, you could do this in reds. You could do this in blues. It would be gorgeous. I mean, you can make a whole set of just different colors just with this fun design here. All right, guys, final card. This is our kind of our most labor-intensive card. We will be coloring our little deer with some Stampin' Blends, but he is easy to color. All right, so I have my real red card base here. Let me get out all of my supplies. So we have a white piece. We have 3 strips of that DSP. Now, again, you could use any DSP. Now, if you have the plaid paper from last year's mini catalog, that would be gorgeous with this too. And then I have some shapes that I've die cut with our layering circles dies. I have the scallop circle, just a regular circle, soft suede, crumb cake, and then just lots of scraps that we're going to be doing some stamping and punching. So let's start with our stamping. Let's get that out of the way. I have some soft suede ink here, and I'm going to stamp Merry Christmas on this little white piece. And I'm going to stamp that kind of farther on the left because we're going to kind of tuck it in on the right. So let's see. Oh, pretty good. I've been doing pretty good getting stuff straight. It's a little hard to kind of get right over it with my phone setup, so sometimes it's hard to get stuff straight, but I think I'm 4 for 4 today. All right, I'm going to put this way down in the corner so that I can hang on to that paper on the edge. So we have our deer. That was just like the solid outline of the deer there. So we're going to do some coloring. And you'll see that I just stamped that with my soft suede ink. We're going to do some soft suede coloring with soft suede Stampin' Blends. So you don't have to use black ink when you want to color. You can use any of our classic inks. All of our classic inks are water-based. When you color with Stampin' Blends, you want a water-based ink. So you can use any of our inks to stamp with when you want to use Stampin' Blends. All right, let me see. I have dark and light soft suede. These are our only blends that we're using. Let me open them up. I like to have them open and ready to go. Now I'm going to put, I'm going to start with my dark, and where I want there to be a darker shadow, I'm going to add that back here on this back leg. It's going to be overlapping his hind leg right here. So I'm just going in with the dark and adding lots of those areas where it's just naturally going to be darker. And let's see, I want under his face right here is going to be a little darker, down his neck, and along his back. So it looks a little funny now. I'm going to go in with my light now and just kind of color over all of those. I'm going in circular motions over those dark areas, and that's going to blend them out. We're going to come back to his face, don't worry. I didn't forget his face. Over here. His legs are very tiny, so just take it slow. I'm using the bullet point of my Stampin' Blends. Just go slow over his legs. He has very little skinny legs. Now you could color him with anything. If you don't like Stampin' Blends, you can use watercolor pencils. You can use blender pens. You can use our Stampin' Right markers. You can really color him with anything. Our water painters. He is a good image to color. All right, and now his face. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to leave his ears, the inside of his ears, because I want that to be the lightest, and we're going to be going over this like one more time. All right. Now I'm just going to go over those dark areas one more time just to really make sure they're blended out. Now if I feel like there needs to be more darker areas, like I feel like this needs to be a little bit darker right here, maybe back here, I'm going to go back in, add some of those dark areas, and then go back in with my blends, my light one. All right, a little bit more on his head with my light, and then we'll just fill in his ears, just like that. All right, nice coloring. Now, I love to color. Now, if I'm gonna color a bunch of things, I will actually stamp them all at once, and then just go like turn on a movie, take my markers, and just sit and color. So, if you love to color, if you wanna make this Christmas card, I mean, just stamp a bunch of the deers, and then you can just sit and color, watch a movie, watch your favorite TV show, watch some stamping videos, whatever you want. So we have him all lined up in our punch. I'm gonna give him a punch. I love a good punch. You know, I love our dies. I love our die cutting machines. The mini one is my favorite. But you know, nothing beats a good punch. Punches are easy. Punches are convenient. They're easy to pack. You don't have to take up additional machines. They're easy. Now I just punched some antlers out of a scrap of soft suede. And we are ready to start assembling our card. So I'm actually going to stick my deer on first to my crumb cake cardstock. We're going to stick the antlers right onto the crumb cake circle. So I'm not even going to worry about trying to get them onto the back of my deer. We're going to worry about that later. I'm going to put my little deer on. I want his little back feet to kind of hang off. Now, I'm going to use liquid glue. Now, if you don't like liquid glue, grab your glue dots. Steal them back from your cat. Grab your glue dots. And I am just putting, let me see. This glue bottle is almost out, so I'm trying not to get too much. Okay, so just a tiny bit on the very tip of the antler there. Tombow glue is very strong. You don't need a lot, so make sure that you are very, don't be too generous with it. This little bottle lasts me so long because you just really need a little bit. And then I'm just sticking those right behind his head, just like that. You don't have to worry about sticking them to his head. Anything you can stick them to his head. You can use the dimensionals like we did on the first card. You can absolutely do that if you don't want to deal with liquid glue or glue dots. You can absolutely do that. See, I'm going to put some adhesive on this circle, and we're going to stick our deer on. Now I thought he needed a little extra something. I thought I needed some sparkle, so we're going to make him Rudolph. We're going to put a little rhinestone right there for his nose. Let me put that down. All right, we're going to set him aside. We're going to let that glue dry. Set him aside. We're going to pull in all of our DSP pieces and our white piece. So I'm going to attach all of these pieces onto my white piece. I want all of my DSP pieces to have adhesive on them. Sorry guys, you know, I'm so bad at reading comments. I will definitely go back. Oh, Colorado Springs. Yeah, they have tons of deer up there. I love Colorado. I was born in Colorado, actually. Colorado Springs is not very far drive from Albuquerque, too. All right. So when I'm putting on strips of anything, I like to do, if you have 3, I like to do the outside first. And then when you put the middle in, you can make sure that the spacing is correct. If I have more than 3, I mean, you just want to kind of do it strategically. Like if I have 4, I'll still start with the outside and then work on the middle. But I just like to make sure that all my spacing is correct. And if I start with the outside pieces, then I know that everything will be mostly lined up. But again, you guys, this is card making. We're not striving for perfection here. We're striving to brighten people's day with our cards. So don't worry too much about getting everything exactly perfect. All right, one more set of dimensionals on the back of our circle here. Just a couple, and we're going to stick this onto our card base. Now for our little Christmas greeting, this is going to hang onto, I need to trim this just a little bit. This is going to hang over our circle and then line up right with the edge of the card there. So I'm going to try to figure out where, I need to trim this just a little more. I'm trying to figure out where is the best position so that you can read the whole greeting. So probably right above his leg there. So on the back of the Mary side, I'm going to put a dimensional. And then on this side, I'm going to just put some adhesive. Because this side will sit flat on the crumb cake side. This side will line up down there. So let me just make sure that it's nice and straight. Everything will sit at the same level. And there you go. Isn't that so cute? This one I think is my favorite, but I love the deer colored. You can really do this, again, with many DSPs. You can really do this with any kind of DSPs. All right, guys. Let me bring back all the cards, and we'll talk about all the giveaways and stuff. So these are the 4 cards we made today. So if you have any questions on any of these, let me know. Now make sure that you're commenting on the video. There will be a drawing for a Peaceful Deer stamp set. I'm giving away this stamp set to one lucky winner. Whose name will I write there? Maybe it'll be yours. So make sure you're commenting on. You have until Monday at noon. And if you are the winner, you are actually going to be submitted into Karen Titus's grand prize drawing for for I think another stamp set. I think she's giving away another stamp set. I don't know which one, but if you were the winner of this drawing, you will be submitted to her grand prize drawing. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, let me know. If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you do need to order any supplies, this is my October host code. And make sure to check out my blog for all of the news going on in October and everything else. And I thank you guys so much for joining me for World Card Making Day. I hope you guys get out there and make some cards today. And of course, make sure to mail them. That is the most important part of making cards. You have to mail them. So make sure you mail those cards as well. All right, guys, thank you again and have a fantastic day.